Hello everyone. It's time for my 4-year anniversary Q&A. Before I start, I just want to give a few updates and do a little introduction for this year's anniversary special. If you don't already know, I've been trying to become a full-time content creator since I lost my job about a month and a half ago. I'm working part-time temp jobs right now, and I've been doing audios the rest of the time, basically nonstop, because I still have bills to pay, but I'm doing my best to get my channel up to viable levels. My current goal is to get 1.5% of my subscribers to join my Patreon at any tier. If I can do that by November 15th, I should be financially viable enough to actually like go completely full time. And that's going to be like around when I get my last paycheck from my temp job. So yeah, exciting. I'm moving in that direction, making more and more content, and I'm actually about halfway to my goal. So if you want to help the cause, I'll be offering a special Patreon discount code for 55% off your first month at any tier on Patreon. The code is 4 years. So click the link that I have in the description and the pinned comment, and you'll be able to see the discount code there. It's going to be active until November 15th, the deadline that I've set for myself. So, yeah, as of now, like I said, we're about halfway to our goal. So, if we can keep the momentum up for the next couple of months, I should be able to go full time permanently, and Escape Audios will be a real bona fide, for real, full time YouTube channel. One more thing that I'm working on is I've been working on the My Grease Fire Life and New Jersey Rat sequels, and I've gone through a lot of rewrites, and I wanted to start them like 9 months ago, but the problem is that they kind of like interact with each other, so I've had to like reorder a bunch of stuff. So originally season 2 of My Grease Fire Life was going to follow Thad, and it was going to alternate between Denny's and a new listener. So it'd be Thad and Ash, and then Denny's, sorry, god, it'd be Thad and his new listener, and then Denny's and Ash back and forth. And I just thought that'd be a little confusing because it would be switching between M for F and M for A, and it'd be hard to tell when the listener perspective transitioned if you're listening on a playlist. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the Havana Rats first, because events in the New Jersey Rats sequel are going to affect the Grease Fire storyline, and so I want to do that first, and then I'm gonna do Thad's spin-off series, which won't be like a direct sequel, and that's gonna take place kind of like side by side with the My Grease Fire Life season 2. So basically, like I'll have two separate playlists for them, but I'll be releasing them, alternating, so they'll chronologically coincide with each other, but they will be off in their own separate little playlists. But it finally all makes sense, because it has been like a complete mess, and I've been going over in my head a million billion times, like, oh my god, what am I going to do with season 2 of My Grease Fire Life? Like, every idea I have is not like working. So I'm working on that right now. I promise we're gonna get those sequels soon. It's gonna be really good, and I don't want to spoil how the rats plot and the grease fire plot are gonna interact with each other, but it's gonna be good. You're gonna love it. All right, so now time for the Q&A. I'll be reading the Patreon and channel member questions first, and then the subscriber questions. And I have a lot of questions, so I'm going to combine some of the similar questions together and leave some of the ones that I already answered out. So if your question wasn't answered, check a previous year's Q&A, and I probably have answered it before. If it's like a super general question, like what got you into making audios, I probably answered it on my first or second Q&A. So check those out. Like I get that question like multiple times a year. So just the really general questions, or general questions about like how I started, are going to be answered in like the year 1, year 2. If you want to check those out, and they're going to be a lot shorter. I have way more questions this year, so I think I've spent enough time on this intro, and it's time to get going. So without any further ado, Ryan asks, what is the inspiration for your stories? I mean, there's a lot of movies and books and comics and video games and just all kinds of storytelling that have influenced me, and there's just too many to list. But I mean, if I was gonna give one big inspiration for my stories, it is Oh my god, now I guess I'd have to give two things. One is like whenever my friends say something that I find amusing or interesting, like I imagine that being something that a fictional character said, and I'd be like, well, if they were a fictional character, what would their arc be? And how would this fit into their story? And I do a similar thing with music. I'm one of those people that when I'm listening to music, I like to imagine the music that I'm listening to be a soundtrack to a scene in a movie or a video game or something like that. So that helps me to come up with scenarios for my audios. And so I'll build scenes around the music, and then I'll build plots and characters around those scene concepts. And that's how a lot of my stuff gets made. The Neon Barbarian that happened. I was like listening to it. I was like, oh man, Out of Touch would make such a great like soundtrack for a last stand in an 80s action movie. Stuff like that. So that's it. That's my main inspiration source is my friends and music. G asks, the first audio of yours that I listened to was the first episode of Der Wolfsjäger. And even though I had listened to all of the other series, it's still my favorite since the first day. I'm both excited and a little bit down to see that the story is finally coming to an end. So I was wondering if there will be a sequel for Wolfsjäger 2 like the other series. I'm curious about both Jaeger's and Schaefer's life before/after the hunt. Um, oh my god, no, Wolfsjäger's not getting a sequel. That one's gonna be like wrapped up. The closest thing that Wolfsjäger will ever get to a sequel is like other gothic verse stuff that is like affected by the events of Wolfsjäger. But that plot, I mean, I've been working on Wolfsjäger for like 2 years now. Like when it's finally done, I'm gonna be like I've done enough. I've done more than enough with Wolfsjäger, and I don't want to be one of those VAs that like makes a character and just can't fucking close the book on them. Like I think that kind of damages you creatively, and it's like it's sometimes it's time to close the book and move on to something new. And I'm gonna close the book on Jaeger. um but on the bright side, I mean, it's not ending soon. Wolfsjäger was supposed to be like 8 episodes long, and we're already on episode 11. Like we're already 3 episodes into overtime, and there's definitely going to be at least 3 more episodes. But like every time that I say, okay, there's going to be 2 more episodes, then it ends up turning into 3 episodes. So if I say 3 more episodes now, that probably means it's going to be at least 4 more episodes. So don't worry, Jaeger and Schaefer are not going anywhere anytime soon. But once their story's done, it's done. I just like with Fletcher, like I might do like more stuff in the Drift in the Blue Infinity universe, but like Fletcher and Lass, like their story's done. I did enough for them. I closed the book, and it's time to move on to new things. Fishy asks, have you ever considered dabbling in an M for M series? Unfortunately, a lot of M for M ASMR videos, other than BVZ, are hypersexual and icky, and I think your chaos and creativity could make a fun pair. Yes. In fact, I was just talking about doing a Blue Infinity sequel. I do have a couple of M for M ideas. I've had a few M for M ideas, just kind of bouncing around my head for a long time, but I think there's really only one that I liked enough to commit to, and also like really thought like this has to be M for M. Like it cannot be M for A. And that would be not quite a sequel to Blue Infinity, but it would take place after the Drift, and it would be about sailors, gay sailors. Um, so yeah, I was thinking of doing like this coming of age story in the Drift, or not in the Drift. So like in between the Drift ending and the new Sovereign of the Sea being discovered, that's where the story would take place. So yeah, like we'd see that. I don't know what I would call it. I was gonna call it Sovereign of the Sea, but then I realized that Sovereign of the Sea is like the name of like a Carnival cruise ship, and I was like, oh fuck, no, I can't do that. But yeah, I do have that as an idea for an M for M series. By the way, if you want to see an M for M series that isn't icky and hypersexual, check out Obsidian Lantern's Lost Prince series. That's a really good M for M that I highly recommend. I think it's at least as good as BVZ. So yeah, you would like that, and I would like to make M for M, but it has to be a story that I really 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 like, and I really 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 want to be M for M. Just because like most of my audience is women, even my M for A stuff, like it's over 90% female listeners. So like I would have to make a story because like if I want that to like go over well with them, I need to make it good enough where they're just like there for the plot, and they don't really care about like the self insert like romance fantasy, and they would just be there to role play a male character, and I would have to like really sell them on that. But I have a good enough idea for that to like really work, and I'll talk more about. I don't want to call it Sovereign of the Sea. Let's just call it Sovereign for now. So we'll talk more about Sovereign later, because I have more questions to get through. But yeah, I do have a good M for M concept in the works. Jinx Audios slash B asks, will the wonderful and great Chloe be featured in more audios or just the Sneaky Goblin series? If so, I would love to see her in them. Her voice is so pretty. If not, when will we get to know more about Sneaky Goblin and Goblin Girlfriend? Yeah, right now, I mean, the only role that I have for her is Goblin Girlfriend, but I mean, she lives with me now, so I can record with her more often. I don't have any like roles written for her, but I mean, I'm sure if I need to cast somebody and her voice is good for it, I can just be like, hey, do you want to play this character? Because she's gonna be way more available to record with me. So yeah, so there's the question for that. As far as Goblin and Goblin Girlfriend, I'm doing like a compiled edition for them, and they're gonna have like little skits in there. But I don't have any Goblin episodes planned right now. I'm kind of in the air about what's gonna happen with Goblin, because like I might keep doing just like the regular like holiday specials with him, but I'm thinking of making like a plot based audio with like one continuous like season long plot for Sneaky sometime. But I'm not sure what that would be. Like for a while, I had this like isekai idea about like the listener going into the other world and like the goblin has to like guide them through it or something. But I'm not totally sure about that, and that's probably gonna go into my bin with all my other crazy ideas that don't get filled. So I don't know. I don't know what Sneaky Goblin's future is for now, but I love that character, so I am gonna keep using him. Next question. Siren asks, do you have an idea for what your next story would be? Not counting the sequels that I've already talked about, and not counting Sovereign. I mean, there's oh my gosh, there's two. There's two, and one is going to be probably a lot closer than the other. But there's one that I want to do, and it's like I think I might have already talked about this last year, but it's been in production hell for so fucking long. Because it was supposed to come out like around Halloween of 2024, and then I made nothing for it. But it's going to be called Betty in Red, and it's not going to be an audio role play. It's going to be a traditional audio drama, and um, oh man, I don't know how much I should spoil. I'm gonna say one thing. It's gonna be in the Gothic verse, and it's gonna be really really fucking scary, really scary. Um, I'm gonna post the art on screen right now by Solstice Souls, by the way. But yeah, that's Betty in Red. Look at her, look at her. She's so gorgeous. She's so scary. So yeah, Betty in Red's gonna be a vampire audio drama that's gonna be very scary. And the other thing that I'm working on, and I use the word working loosely because it's like in the outline phase, is Sky and Clay. And Sky and Clay, I've been working on Sky and Clay for so fucking long, and I haven't done anything with it yet. And the reason I haven't done anything with it yet is because it's a very delicate subject that I need to like. It has to be perfect before I record anything. Because the theme of that story is basically like you are not immune to propaganda, and for like the first half of the story, you are on the side of the bad guys, and just that the bad guy is so the bad guy is so charismatic that you don't realize he's bad until he like goes too far. Then you kind of realize that you were on the wrong side the whole time. And it's not like it's supposed to be like a villainous sort of story. It's more like you just don't know you're the bad guy, and then you have to become the good guy halfway through. But like I need to work that out very delicately because I can't make it too obvious that he's the bad guy, and I can't make it too I don't know. I can't make him seem too good. Like it's just it's a really hard razor to walk. So Sky and Clay is gonna take a lot longer. And then I have what else? What else? What else? Oh yeah. God, I forgot what I was gonna call this series. I don't have a title for it yet. I've been tentatively calling it Dark Queen for like a long time. But it is going to be an audio role play, but it's going to include an experimental element of there being a narrator who narrates your actions, but not everything. It wouldn't be like an audio book where like there's a consistent like omniscient narrator. It'd be more like it'd be more like the narrator in Baldur's Gate 3 if you play that game, where their narrator only really appears when dialogue can't really convey something, and when, you know, visible actions also can't convey it. So, like, your inner thoughts and what you're feeling and perceiving um, are going to be conveyed through a voiceover. So, that's a little experimental. It's not going to be like a traditional audio play or an audio book. It's still going to be an audio role play, just done a little bit differently. So that's what I have in store. All right, next question. Did you base that off of a real person or just an archetype? I based that off of myself. And I also based Ash off of myself. So let me explain. I'm a struggling actor, much like Ash. And I'm also a big bulky himbo, like Thad. And no, Thad originally came to me when I was writing Fickburger, which is the series that became My Greasefire Life. Fickburger was significantly different from My Greasefire Life, but Fickburger started with the Lighthouse episode of My Greasefire Life, and it just started from a quote of me and my friends in real life, where my friend was looking up at the stars, and he said, like, you ever look up at space and think about how like small and insignificant you are? And I said, no, I have 16-inch biceps. Why would I ever feel small? And we all thought that was so fucking funny. Uh, that it stuck out of my memory, and I was like, I could build a scene around this little quip, you know, like I could have this like himbo who's like really insightful and philosophical, but only because he thinks in such like practical and simplistic terms, because he's just too fucking dumb to see things any other way. And by accident is very wise, and that's what I wanted Thad to be. I wanted Thad to be wise by accident. And that is based on me. I am wise by accident, so that's where Thad came from. Next question. Rose Hearts asks, will we get an assassin ML, I think male lead? Will we get an assassin male lead or superhero male lead? You were gonna get a superhero male lead, and then I cut it because I hated it. I'm so sorry. There was gonna be a Neonverse series called Blackbird, and it was gonna be one of Crow's kids. In that version of the Neonverse timeline, Raven got pregnant with Crow before he died, and uh her like one of her sons, or just like the one that she had with Crow, she had like kids with Jay, who became Ivan and Jay are the same person. She had kids with Jay, who didn't have superpowers, and then one kid with Crow, who did have superpowers, and he became a superhero named Blackbird. And I hated Blackbird so much. I hated Blackbird. I hated Blackbird. I hated it. It was garbage. It was complete fucking trash. So I that was the only superhero concept that I've ever had, and I've lit that script on fire. I'm never gonna make Blackbird ever. And what about assassin? I don't want to do an assassin either. Like, I just don't. I don't know why. Um, I don't want to do an assassin. There's like a lot of assassin audios out there, and like that I've listened to, and like what I've noticed is that a lot of the assassin audios never depict assassinations. They're just like a guy that's like, I'm an assassin, and then flirts with you. I don't know. They kind of suck. They stink. Not saying that you can't write a good assassin story, but like I've just never been that thrilled by them as like audio role play leads. I don't find that I don't know. I don't I don't want to do an assassin or a hitman. I don't. I just don't. I just don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Not me. So no. Sorry. Jillian asks, please, yes or no, is Geralt going to come back? I love him so much, and I just want the cutie to come back so bad. You want to get spoilers, don't you? You're not getting any spoilers on here, Jillian. Jillian, you thought you could trick me. Sorry. I'm sorry. I know you're on the Patreon priority list, but I did have a rule against posting spoilers in the Q&A. You're just gonna have to keep watching Wolfsjäger, and I'm so fucking sorry that I'm putting Wolfsjäger on such a long hiatus, but yeah, my boy Deuchtenwald is on vacation, and we really tried to get episode 11 out in time. Not that Geralt is in episode 11. I'm not saying he is. But I might be saying that he's in episode 12. Okay, next question. Chochin MC asks, how did you start with the audios? Oh my god, every year somebody asks this. I would have skipped this if it wasn't in the Patreon priority list. I'm gonna tell you to like go back and watch the first year's AMA to get the long story, but long story short, I liked audio dramas, I liked The Green Hornet, and then I listened to Castle of Brew Castle of Blue Roses by Stephanie Swan Quills, and I was like, oh my god, these like little audios can be more than just like cuddle sleep aids with your girlfriend. They can be actual stories with big plots and big characters. So shout out to Stephanie Swan Quills. If it wasn't for her, there might be no escaped audios. Next question. Captain C Cookie Monster asks, hi, Escaped. I fucked up last year and sent the question too late, so I'm trying again. Who of your characters has the highest spice tolerance? Who can't handle spice at all? And who has the biggest sweet tooth? Parentheses, is it Ash? Well, I'm going to tell you now, the character with the biggest sweet tooth is obviously Jaeger. Jaeger has literally, like, broken the law to ensure that he has chocolate. Like, multiple times on screen in canon, there's, like, at least 2 incidences of him, like, violating the law to make sure that he has chocolate continuously. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that you can't compete with his sweet tooth. Who has the highest spice tolerance? Oh my god, let me think. Who would have the highest spice tolerance? I'm gonna say, ooh, that's gotta be I'm gonna say Benji. I'm gonna say Benji. Benji likes eating weird stuff, and he likes really strong flavors. So yeah, so like Benji likes strong flavors. He doesn't just like, he likes really spicy food and has definitely like eaten like excessively spicy food just to like see what it was like. But like he also likes stinky cheese and stinky fish and like really pungent foods, strong foods, aromatic foods. Like he would probably eat a whole clove of garlic raw. Like that's a Benji thing. I think Benji would have the highest spice tolerance. The lowest spice tolerance, I've gotta say, believe it or not, that would probably be Crow. Because like Crow grew up in the wasteland, and he grew up in an environment where there was like no sugar, like very little in the way of like spices at all. So he had to get used to eating like pretty bland food. So he had to like develop like a pretty sensitive taste bud to like appreciate food at all. So I think that like the kind of food that Benji might eat would probably like just send Crow into a coma. He'd probably think he was like being attacked. Like he'd go insane. He can take a bullet, but he cannot take a habanero pepper. Okay, next question. Tara asks, is it sometimes weird to make NSFW audios, fake moaning into the mic and all that? I love everything you do, and Cervantes. No, it's not that weird. Like I've done stage kisses before, like, and that's way more awkward than anything that you can do in the privacy of a microphone. I mean, it's like it's just acting, it's just acting, and like getting into that headspace to do that kind of performance isn't really all that different from like the kind of headspace that I would get into to like do an action scene, to like pretend that I'm being injured when I'm not actually injured, or pretend that I'm attacking somebody who's not there, or getting angry at someone who's not there, yeah, like acting turned on by somebody who's not there when you're talking to your microphone is like not that different from acting like you're angry or sad or laughing, or it's another range of emotion. So not awkward at all for me. And like obviously, like I mean, I'm not like I don't know, I don't have any like hang-ups about sexual expression. I've never really like felt like it was a weird thing to like talk about or express. So doing it in acting is not that different for me. It's not awkward. No. Next question. Shark asks, first, I just wanted to say how fun it's been supporting you and being around the channel. Second, out of all the characters on the channel, listeners included, who was the most fun to write and why? Oh man, Cervantes, are you kidding me? If you're on the Patreon, you have got to listen to the behind the scenes of every episode of Not in Front of Dinner Darling, because Edmund's voice actor was like physically in the room with me while we were recording. So, and we would very often change the script like right before we recorded, or sometimes like midway through recording. Sometimes we would improvise and surprise each other, and just like go off the cuff and redevelop scenes, and it was so much fun. And I love playing Cervantes because like a lot of my characters, like if I want to make a character that's a little bad, I also have to like run the balance of still making them lovable as a romantic interest. But Cervantes is not a love interest to anybody except for Edmund. So it doesn't really matter if the listener, is attracted to them or sees them as a good romantic partner. So he could just be a complete fucking asshole, and it's so liberating to not have to strike that balance between being a bad boy and still being like desirable. To just be like a jerk is so fun and such a breath of fresh air. Yeah, that's got to be Cervantes. Writing, performing, everything about Cervantes was so much fun. Okay, let's see. Up next is Casper. What are Denny's, Ash's, and Thad's canon ages? I don't remember the exact ages of them. Everyone in my Greasefire life is between age 24 and 26, except for Duke Dandy. I think Duke Dandy is only like 22. But yeah, like Lena, Thad, Ash, Denny's, they're all mid 20s. Okay. Next question, we have Morgan Moonlight, who asks, what was the hardest line you have ever had to record, either in a collab or for an audio on your own channel? It could be anything. Let's see. Oh my god, hardest thing ever. My first time speaking German, for sure. Oh my god, and I still sucked. Like when I was doing the proof of concepts for Wolfsjäger, I had a German like coach with me to like make sure that I was like, even though I wasn't hitting the accent perfectly, like at the very least being like phonetically correct in German. And like I would say a sentence and like I would get like 80% of the words right, and then I'd redo it, and then I would fix the words that I messed up, but then I would mess up a new word and I wouldn't realize it until I was revising the audio. So for like every one line of German that I did, I had to record probably 20 times. I had like 20 takes on average for each line of German. And I can't even say like a particular line. Um, it was probably the part where he's like telling Schaefer that like he has to fight Bastian Koenig alone. I think that particular line, I think I had to do like over 30 takes for that. That was, oh god. Okay, at least I'm better at speaking German now. My accent is still like not the best. It's not the worst either, but like I'm not taking 30 fucking takes per line anymore. Okay, up next, we have Anonymous, who asks, which of your listener characters would win in a fight against one another? I think I did a whole scenario about this on a Tumblr post one time. And I think it was Raven. I think it was Raven. which makes a lot of sense. And the only reason it wasn't Slash is because Guest from Matador Gothic is there. And Guest would make pretty quick work of Slash. But Raven would be able to defeat like basically anyone else. Yeah, okay, yeah. So that yeah, it's Raven. It's for sure Raven. But if Guest was not invited to the fight, then it would be Slash. Okay, next question. When are you planning on continuing the Basher and Slasher sequel? As we speak. I literally just finished production on the next episode of My True Love is Dead. So that's gonna come out. The next video to come out after this AMA is gonna be the next episode of My True Love is Dead, and then I'm probably gonna be like going pretty hard on that because since Wolfsjäger's on hiatus, I'm gonna have basically twice as much time to work on My True Love is Dead. So I'll be just knocking those out. Valerie asks, how is the bug doing in your stomach from when you swallowed it during last year's AMA? It crawled into my brain and now it controls me. Anonymous asks, what kind of bird would Ivan pick as his spirit animal? You don't pick your spirit animal. Your spirit animal picks you, and he was chosen by the crow. All right, next question. Gel asks, sorry if this has been asked before, but how do you come up with such cool ideas? From the scenarios happening in New Jersey Rats to my Greasefire life, what do you get inspired by? Do you watch shows, movies, / read the genre that you want to write about? Yeah, I already said like, real life conversations and music are like my two biggest inspirations, but I do also consume a lot of other fiction. And also nonfiction helps a lot too. So like if I'm actually like interested in like a very specific like topic, I will pick up nonfiction about it. So like for like Blue Infinity, I read a lot of books about like pirate history. One that I really liked was Born to be Hanged. That's a nonfiction book, but it's written in such a narrative format that I think a fiction reader would still enjoy it. And for Wolfsjäger, I read a nonfiction book called Special Forces Berlin. And it was basically about like CIA and BND, like intelligence operations during the Cold War on the like inner like East-West German border. And that book is fat as fuck. It is so thick and dense. And the history is really fascinating to me. I think the role that Germany played in the Cold War, I think, is like one of the most interesting parts of modern history. So I had no problem reading that book, but if you're a fiction reader, I don't think you'd enjoy it. Like you have to really be like a history book enjoyer to enjoy Special Forces Berlin. I would still recommend it. I loved Special Forces Berlin, but like that is a thick boy and it will bore you if you're like not interested in Cold War history. But great book. Okay, next question. Anonymous asks, do you have your own interpretation of what happened to Slash's face? And if yes, what is it? No, the only canon thing is that Slash's face is disfigured and grotesque on the, I think, left side. And that's really it. And so I wanted to leave that up to interpretation because I wanted Slash to have a little bit of mystery and mystique and leave a little bit of room for creativity so everybody could decide for themselves what makes their Slash so unique under the mask, and in what way are they fucked up, like is it a birth defect, or were they in a fire, were they disfigured by a blade, or like an industrial accident or something like that. Yeah, everybody has their own little backstory, so I did intentionally leave that ambiguous, and I never really thought about it for myself. Like I don't have my own Slash headcanon. I was just thinking so much more about like, oh, how is this gonna tickle other people's imaginations, so I kind of left it at that. Next question. Anonymous asks, what is your favorite sound effect? Oh my God. Let me think. I'm gonna say the musket sound effect that Alfonso and Jaeger use a lot. That little psh, kaboom. I like that little black powder sizzle before that big, like, thick, bassy, like, gunshot. Yeah, I love the musket. The musket sound effect is great. It's a blast. Okay, JD or sorry, JR asks, what is the hardest part about producing sequels slash spin-offs slash bonus episodes? I mean, a lot of the times my series are so conclusive that like coming up with a bonus episode is like really hard for me because if I come up with a new story, I feel like sometimes it gets a little out of hand, and I'm like, well, I'm basically like coming up with what could be its own season, its own story, its own like movie length story. And I can't just make this one little episode. So like writing little episodes is really hard to the point that it gave me like newfound respect for audio roleplay creators that make like fluffy little boyfriend experience stuff because I'm just like that's hard. It's hard to make a little bullshit 30-minute story. It really is. When you're at least when you have the mind to be like, well, I want this to be bigger and I want there to be more characters and more conflict, and it's like scaling it down is very, very difficult for me. Just because my modus operandi takes me in a different direction. Um, and the hardest part about producing sequels, I mean, if I'm not feeling a sequel, I just won't make it. So like if I have an idea that I'm excited for, then it comes naturally to me to create it. So that's easy. And if I don't have an idea that I'm excited for, then I just don't make it, and that's also easy. So making sequels is never hard, but making spin-offs and bonus episodes is actually like pretty difficult. Every now and then I can like strike the balance. Like the New Orleans Rats, I think was like the perfect length, and it told a story in its own little self-contained space. But overall, though, it's pretty hard to do little one-shot spin-offs. I think, or like it's hard to keep them from getting out of hand and getting too big. Let's see. Anonymous asks, do you have plans for more secondary characters from either current and or upcoming series to participate in romantic listener relationships like Thad and Bada Boom do? For now, it's just them. Um, and like, I mean, and that's really because like those are the characters that I voice. So I mean, a lot of all the other secondary characters are voiced by other voice actors. So like, it's just not feasible to give them a whole series. So I never really entertained the idea of like where that would go or what I would do with that. So I mean, like for now, it's just gonna be those two characters. Okay, next question. Next question. Danya asks. Let's see. It might be a basic question, but when does a series come to your mind? Do you think about the characters first or the story first? I'm really interested in how does that work for audios and actual series on screen. Um, I mean, it really depends. It really depends on like the stories. Like, if it's like a more fantastical type of story, I usually think of the setting first. Like for Blue Infinity, I thought of the drift before I ever thought about Fletcher and Lass and the plot of Blue Infinity. Um, Same with like Wolfsjaeger, same with Neon Barbarian. Like with Neon Barbarian, I was just like, what if somebody survived the apocalypse long enough to have to live a normal life? Like, how would that go? And then that's how everything came from there, story wise. But yeah, no, it really depends. Like for example, like for my Greasefire Life, like I didn't have a plot for the longest, other than the fact that like Ash worked at this like mean burger place. So I had characters. I had characters there, and then the plot kind of grew around the characters. But I guess it's different every time, and I can't give a definitive answer. Sorry if that's not like a super satisfactory answer, but that's the best I can give you. Okay, next question. Totally Not Siren asks, I wanted to ask if you already have an artist for your next story. If not, I would love to be an artist for free. I really like your craft. Yeah, I mean, go ahead and DM me. I'm pretty easy to reach on like Tumblr. Tumblr's the easiest place to reach me. But Tumblr's DM sucks, so we could like switch to email or Discord. But just like DM me on Tumblr or Twitter, or just find my email and just email me directly, and we can talk about that. Okay, next question. Silly lore question. Which part of the sunlight is deadly to vampires? Could they theoretically tan on a sunbed, or would that kill them? What about those lamps that you need to grow plants inside? Could vampires die from growing weed? Another cookie question. No, vampires could not die from growing weed, but it would be extremely unpleasant for them. I think maybe a darkly desired might be able to grow weed without there being any problems, but like I think like being in a tanning bed or being around like those like UV lights, that would like it would hurt a lot. It would be like the equivalent of being in scalding water just permanently. They would want to get away from it. So I mean those things won't kill them. I think they could blind them. There's like ways to like there's ways to like harm them with light without using sunlight. Like white phosphorus can blind them, I believe. That was established in Matador Gothic. But it doesn't like kill them the way sunlight does. So like there's like a little gray area, but the only thing that will straight up kill them is like the sun itself. And it has nothing to do with wavelengths or photons or any scientific bullshit. It's just the sun, okay? It's magic. I don't got to explain shit. Next question. Let's see. Mia asks, what gives you the motivation to make your stories / scripts? I just love telling stories. And I'm always coming up with ideas for stories, and I'm always yapping at people about my stories. And eventually, I have to turn all of that yap into something productive. So when the motivation hits me, it just comes naturally, I guess. And the other thing that motivates me is your guys' wonderful comments and fan art and just all the great feedback that I get from the community. That motivates me and that keeps me going. That's actually a really big deal for me, and that has kept me motivated for a long time. And it's kept me motivated a lot longer than money has, because money's only really been part of the equation for like a couple months. But you guys' comments have made me very happy and very motivated to keep going this whole time. So that's it for the Patreon and channel member questions. Now we're gonna get to the main body of questions from regular subscribers. Oh boy, this is gonna be a long one. I think I have like 90 questions here, so there's no way I'm gonna be able to do them all. So if your question isn't here, I'm sorry. Again, like if there's multiple questions that sound a little similar, I'm just gonna kind of like roll them into one question and leave it at that. And if it's a little too similar to a question that was answered maybe last year or the year before that, I'm going to also leave those out. So sorry. If I don't answer your question, there's probably an answer to it in a previous year's AMA, if you have the patience to listen to them. All right, here we go. Let's see. Banana Bob asks, are you open to fans making animatics / animations based on your audios? Yeah, I obviously, I mean, I think people already have. If you're not on my Tumblr, you've got to get on there. Like, get on Tumblr. If you're not a Tumblr user, get on there just for the Escaped Audios community. I'm very active on Tumblr, and I have a very active fandom community on Tumblr that makes a lot of fan art. And there's a lot of people that follow the Escaped Audios hashtag on there. So if you make animations or animatics based on Escaped Audios characters and post them there, a lot of people would see it and appreciate it. So yes, Banana Bob, I don't only allow that, but I encourage it. Let's see. Sleepy asks, what projects have you had to put on hold because some ideas weren't sticking or thought out? More than you could imagine. I couldn't even list them here. I've talked about some of them in detail. I had like, I think in the second, I think it was the second or the third AMA, I had like a whole list of like all my canceled projects or projects on hold. And oh my god, there's so fucking much. There's so many. I have more ideas that I could possibly produce, so I put a lot of stuff on hold and throw a lot of stuff in the trash, because eventually I'm just like, this isn't worth it. I have better ideas. I have stuff that's more worth my time. And like, sometimes I'll take bits and pieces and move that into something else. But god, I have put so many things on hold and put so many things into the pits of production hell that I couldn't even list them all. Okay, May asks, This might be weird, but I'm actually curious. How do you make kissing sounds? Like, do you kiss your hand or something? Yes, I do kiss my hand. I make a little mouth with my index finger and my thumb, and I make absolute love to it. Demi asks, what are some of your character's silliest fears? I'm leaving this one up to headcanon because I've never even thought about that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I've never thought about that. That's headcanon territory. That's fan fiction territory. Not a mid Denny's waitress asks, do any of your characters have a persona? Duke Dandy. Um, Not a mid Denny's waitress also asks, if you could change one thing about your audios, what would you change? I would change so much about Cronus 7, it's not even funny. Um, I would have made Cronus 7 at least half an hour longer to develop the relationship between future Benji and his wife a lot more, because one, I just underexplored the whole conflict of him feeling like he was stealing his life from his true self, like the 2002 version of him, and just like the moral dilemma that came from that, from being like I'm literally stealing my future from my past self. I'm living his life. I'm like, you know, that was kind of reduced down to like one conversation they had while driving, and that was supposed to be like a major plot theme. And another thing is that I really underexplored the theme of like the listener character inheriting a lot of her personality traits from her future self. And it was barely hinted at in the actual audio, but it was supposed to be a much bigger theme. But basically, like, the version of the future wife that Benji ends up marrying is a much more like bold and courageous person that's willing to like take huge chances and just fearlessly like pick up her roots and do a lot of stuff that her past self like didn't really have the courage to do. So like I kind of like hearing about the sort of woman that she becomes, as she matures, kind of like influences her self image and makes her grow into herself. Um, and I never really like explored that. And I wish that I had. So yeah, there's that. There's that. All right, Nightshade1217 asks, if you could spend an entire day with any one of your characters, who would it be and what would you do? I would love to go to the beach with Thad. That sounds like a great time. Let's see. Not a mid Denny's waitress asks, okay, one last one. How do you meet your friends in the VA community? I'm just out there, bro. I'm just out there. And I socializing with people comes naturally to me. So like, it's not that it's easy to talk to people that you share a common interest with. It's not that hard. You just talk. Just talk to people. Just talk to her, bro. Just be yourself. I mean, literally, it's that simple. I'm just myself. I'm really social in real life, so socializing online is even easier, especially when you have like a common interest with someone. Um, let's see. Luna asks, will you be making any new series soon? Yes, I will be, and I have already talked about that. And I need to buzz through this one. I'm so sorry, Luna. I need to like really cut that one short, but you'll be hearing about my future series throughout this AMA. But the answer is of course yes, of course yes. Dinero asks, first question, are Slasher and Basher demons or have demon features under the mask? No, they are servants of the Reaper, which are totally, they have nothing to do with demons. And two, and also they're undead. They're ghouls. So like ghouls, the difference between ghouls and zombies is that ghouls have personalities and free will, and zombies do not. And ghouls don't decay. They are perfectly preserved undead beings. They don't rot. So yeah, no demon features, no zombie features. They are ghouls. Um, let's see. Two. In the near future, like like way into the future. Sorry, this is sorry. There's like typos I'm working through. In the near future, like way into the future, is it possible for Lena and Denny's to work together? No, Lena went back to Hungary. She's not gonna like move to America to work at a Denny's, or that's not gonna happen. Let's see. And last question. How would you describe the relationship of Bada Boom and the intern, and alternatively Thad and Denny's? Bada Boom and the intern get along great. Same with Thad and Denny's. Like they're really close friends. Very similar dynamics. You know, himbo, and like your friend's girlfriend slash partner. Yeah, they're very close. They're very endeared to one another. Let's see. Sadie asks, if your characters were songs, what songs would they be and why? Oh my god. Their own theme songs, I guess. I guess all my characters have theme songs, and if you pay attention to the audios, you can figure out what you know what their theme songs are. You know, like Ivan's theme song is "Chicago" by Sufjan Stevens. Crow's theme song is "Out of Touch." Yada yada. So listen to their audios, pay attention, figure out what their theme songs are. You're gonna have to discover that one on your own. Um, Selgi asks, "Are there any scenes from your stories that you specifically like? Like what are my favorite scenes to like revisit? Because like after I'm done editing, I'm so sick of hearing them that I just can't listen to them until like a year has passed, and then I can like sit down and listen to it objectively and be like, this is what it's like to experience this as a listener. And These are both from the same episode of the same audio. The fight scene in episode 2 of Neon Wings, and the love confession in the episode 2 of Neon Wings. Those are my two scenes that I enjoy. If I was a listener, I think I would really be into those scenes. Let's see. Are you fluent in any other languages, or do you translate the German and Spanish as you need for specific moments? I am fluent in Spanish. With the German, I translate them. It's always like kind of painstaking, and I always make mistakes. And I have a few people helping me. Shout out to the people in the German channel of the Escaped Audios Discord. I love you guys. You've saved me from embarrassing myself with my poorly translated German multiple times. Um, so many times you guys have saved me. I'm so grateful for you guys. And I'm also grateful for all the times that you listen to me yap when I'm awake at some unholy hour and it's like a reasonable time of day in your time zone. Um, Shout out to the German channel on the Discord. Yeah, so like they help me. They help me to translate. But with the Spanish, I can translate myself, no problem. Um, let's see. Hello, happy 4-year anniversary. Sorry, this is Ari who's asking this. I was wondering if you plan on doing more fantasy audio stories. I introduced your channel to my mama because she loves stories about werewolves and vampires, and she absolutely loves Wolfsjäger and Matador Gothic. Yeah, I mean, most of my series include some kind of like fantasy elements. I think like my slice of life stuff is like way less common than my fantasy like related stuff. Like I guess like I don't really do like classic like medieval fantasy type fantasy, but I have had a I threw that script away. It was so bad. It was so bad. I did have like a traditional medieval fantasy story. That was supposed to be my second audio ever until my cat blew up my computer, and I started writing the Neon Barbarian. And then when I went back and like recovered the files, I was like reading the script, and I was like, this is just like ass. And I think it's because like I lifted a lot of the plot from a Dungeons and Dragons game that I ran back in like 2021. And just because it worked as a D&D game, that doesn't mean it's going to work as an audio role play, is all I'm going to say. So it was like ass. It was garbo. So maybe one day I'll go back to like traditional medieval fantasy for like a full series, like not just like little one-shot things. But I don't have any plans for that so far. But I mean, there's always going to be magic and monsters and peril and all kinds of supernatural elements and fantastical things in Escaped Audios, of course. Of course. Let's see. Goosey asks, what was your favorite series to create so far? I've never had more fun than when I was making Not in Front of Dinner Darling. Every single episode was riotous. Riotous to make. It was so much fun making that series. So Nifod is going to go with, like, I think number one all time, like, most fun I've ever had writing and recording. Let's see. Anonymous asks, I was wondering if you have canon heights for each character from each series. If so, how tall are they? I think I posted it one time in this like fan art, like question guide list thing that I had on Tumblr a while back. But I don't remember. I don't really fucking care about their height. I really, a lot of people really care about characters' heights, as specifically when they're like male love interests. Like people really want to know how tall male love interests are, and it's like, I don't care. I don't care. I just all of them are between 5'10" and like 6'1", with a couple exceptions. Alfonso is a little shorter than that. I think Alfonso is like 5'8" or 5'9" or something. And then Jaeger is like 6'2", and Basher is really fucking tall. I forgot how tall he was. He's not as tall as Crow though. He's taller than Jaeger but shorter than Crow, and Crow is like 6'7". He's ridiculously gigantic, and like Crow is like the only character whose height really matters. You know, like the fact that he's like inhumanly fucking massive is like important to his character, but the rest of them, like I don't know. They're like they're like 6 feet tall, give or take 2 inches. You know, like 5'10", 5'11", 6 feet tall, like you know around there. Around there. I don't know. I don't know. I don't care. I don't care. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. People really care about this, but I don't give a shit. I feel so mean saying this. Um, oh my god. All right. Sunny asks, for Wolfsjäger, was it difficult with the German included? Yes, but it gets easier every episode, and I'm going to re-record episode 1 because I fucking hate the I I'm remaking episode 1 for a lot of reasons. There's a lot of things that I have to change about episode 1. Like one, I have a subtitling error in the video that I can't hot edit out, which has been driving me crazy for almost 2 years now. Two, I fucking hated my German pronunciation on everything in episode 1. Three, German Raiden was recording with like a shitty fucking microphone, and he has a better microphone now, so we can get better sound quality out of him. Four, I really want to add like a little introduction where Schaefer is given like a briefing by an American in English before she like encounters any of the Germans, because I think the fact that the show starts in German, like Sophia, Stefan, and Duchtenwald are all just like speaking German together, and then there's like the guard and Uwe Schmidt also speaking German, and so like there's so much German with subtitles at the beginning of episode 1 that I think some people like didn't stick around long enough to realize that the series is an English series, and they won't have to be reading subtitles the whole time. That kind of put some people off. And I don't want that to end up putting them off, and it's like, yeah, I did want to have like the intro for like being in the police station and like listening in to like people speaking German. But I mean, if that's gonna like damage, you know, like the possibility of reaching people, I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna change that because like there are some people that are like, oh, I want to listen to Wolfsjäger, but I don't want to read subtitles, and it's like 95% of it is in English. Like, and I think they just watched like the first couple minutes of episode 1 and just thought the whole entire show is German. And I'm like, oh man, I kind of fucked up there. So I'm redoing episode 1 because it was so hard doing German. I really got sidetracked there. Oh my god, I answered my own side question there. God. Okay. Agora Leona asks, when will there be a new Staufen of My True Love Is Dead? I see your little German commas there. New Staufen. Staufen. Staufen? I don't know that word. I'm so sorry. Staufen. Did you mean Staffel? Staffel, like a season, like a season of a TV show is like called a Staffel, right? Like an episode is a Folgen, chapter is a Kapitel, right? I feel so dumb. I don't know what a Staufen is. I think you meant like a new Staffel, like a new season. I don't think there will be another Staffel of My True Love Is Dead. There will be another Folgen or Kapitel of My True Love Is Dead, like literally next week. Like it's almost finished. What is a Staufen? It is a Staufen. I've got Staffels. I've got no Staufen. Oh wait, no, Staffels in plural. Staffeln? I feel so stupid right now. You put me on the spot. You put me on. I swear I can speak German, kind of. I don't know what a Staufen is. I'm so sorry. Okay, fuck, I'm sorry. I'm still fucked up about the Staufen. Okay, Mimi asks, uh, here are my questions for who hold on, the grammar on this is tripping me out. Who was your favorite character from any series that you made? I don't know. I love them all so much. I love them all so much. Who's my favorite character? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That would have been, I think that answer was Crow for a long time, but he's got so much competition. I love all my boys. I can't pick one. I can't pick a favorite. That's like asking me to pick a favorite kid. Um, what's your favorite series so far? Blue Infinity, I think, is my best work. And last question, would you be making more series? Of course, I'll be making more series, Mimi. Of course. Wait, actually, this is the last one, or do you have a new series in mind? Of course. No, this isn't my last. No, I'm making more stuff. I'm not retiring. I'm doing the opposite of retiring. I'm doubling down on content creation. Mimi, what are you so worried about? This is the last. No, this is the last of anything. Let's see. Miel asks, what inspired you to make this content? I just am a creative person. I got my first taste of storytelling doing D&D, and then I moved on to this. Ashlyn asks, which of your characters do you think has the best relationship dynamic with their listener? Um, Fletcher and Lass, after the after like the main story of Blue Infinity finished, like those 50 years between the story ending and Lass dying of old age, like they were perfect. They had no problems whatsoever. They had a perfect relationship. They suffered enough, and they got their happily ever after, and they were very happy indeed. Let's see. Next question. Star asks, "Do you love sunrises? If so, why?" Of course I love sunrises. Of course I love sunrises. I'm a morning person. That's what. And I wasn't always a morning person. So, like it used to be that if I woke up early enough, if I woke up earlier than I usually did, because I used to wake up at like really ridiculously late hours. I like the treat of getting to see the sunrise and getting to like smell the morning dew in the morning. Um, Sorry, can you hear my roommates? They just came home after like a long trip. They're like, hold on. Sorry, they've been gone for like a couple weeks. I had to go out and say hi to them. Oh my gosh, where was I? Oh yeah, so like waking up in time to like see the sunrise and smell the morning dew, like that combination of sensations is really special to me. And it used to be something that I would only experience if I like had something that was like really motivating me to like wake up in time for that. So like I still like really associate that feeling with like purposefulness and like really being alive and being out of that like gross like nasty brain fog that I was in during like the period of my life when I was like waking up like at 10 a.m. or later routinely. So sunrises are special to me. Sunrises represent overcoming depression in my past, and you can overcome depression too. Um, and you'll find your sunrise. Don't worry. There's a different symbol for everyone, but for me, it is the sunrise. The sunrise is the symbol of gaining purpose after not having it. Little Bat Boy asks, how do you think your characters would react if their partner came out as trans to them? Um, hmm. Uh, Crow would just be like, "What is a trans man?" Hold on. I gotta do the voice. What is a fuck? What is a I what is a trans man? Crow. What is a trans man? What is a pronoun? Fuck. Yeah, I think Ash would take it pretty easily. Ash would take it in stride. John would take it in stride. Like John would just, yeah, John would be super chill. I think John might actually be the chillest. He might actually be more chill about it than Ash. Let's see. Let's see. Fletcher would be baffled. You'd have to explain the entire concept of being trans to him. Like, I don't think you could even come out as trans to Fletcher in the like modern sense of like our modern concept of like gender identity and transness. Because he lives in 1790. That's just, it would have to be like a totally different thing, like a totally different kind of like, I don't know, like gender nonconformity, but like not necessarily like the way that we view transness now in like 2025. Who else? I think Basher would just be like, whatever. I've seen Basher has seen weirder shit and stranger transformations, and he doesn't care. The Basher, no, actually, like I think Basher would be like the truly most neutral character. I think like maybe like Jean and Ash would be like proactively supportive, but like Basher would just be like, that's what you are. Whatever. Like that's just what you are. Cool. He's seen weirder stuff. Oh my god. Yeah, there's so many characters. I can't go through all of them. You get the idea though. You get the idea. Let's see. Jalen asks, when is Against the World series gonna come back? It is never gonna come back. Have I ever even had? Oh, I had a sequel idea for Against the World season one. I kind of like I talk about it a little bit in like previous AMAs. Um, the thing about that is, I'm not that motivated to like make another Against the World. I want to do other stuff, you know. And from the Against the World sequel that I'd like written, the only thing that I really liked about it was these two like supporting characters. Um, these like two teenage characters, and they're like scummy friends. They were just very entertaining. And I loved them, and I didn't like anything else except for those like side characters. So I think I'm just gonna transplant them into a different story and like maybe just make it so they don't have superpowers, or maybe have them have superpowers if it makes sense for the story, but just keep like the general vibe of those characters, you know. Because they were like teenage petty supervillains, and I could just turn them into like, you know, wayward teens, and it would still make sense. But yeah, like there's Against the World is never getting a sequel. I don't want to. Next question. Shadow Cat asks, what is your number one favorite movie of all time? My favorite movie is Baby Driver, and it actually had a big influence on Escaped Audios and the way it's produced. And if you watch it, you will understand. So do go watch Baby Driver if you haven't seen that movie. Angie asks, in Cronus 7, after the ending, and we get back with Benji, what happens in November of 2023 when he time traveled originally? Does anything happen? No, nothing happens. Because, well, number one, there wasn't a time loop. Or, like, not, there wasn't a time loop that Benji was a part of. Because like Cronus 1, Cronus 2, Cronus 3, blah blah blah, like they traveled through time multiple times, but this wasn't like a time loop. Like I think Lucinda says that like every time they get better at taking over the world, so they're just like repeating their process of taking over the world and then going back and doing it again, and every time they get better. They're like speedrunners with a video game, but for taking over the world. And Benji was not there until the seventh time they went back in time. So like Benji wasn't trapped in a time loop. There was no time loop. There was like a repetition of traveling through the same points in time, but there wasn't like a self-completing time loop. And the time crystals got destroyed, and there are no other known time crystals. At least like not that any human being possesses. So the time machine would never work, and that's if somebody invented it. But remember, like every time Cronus travels back in time, they kill their past selves and take over their lives. So Jason had already killed the past version of Lucinda by the time like Cronus 7 finishes. So with no 2002 Lucinda, there's nobody to invent the time machine. So there's just no more time travel. Time travel is over. So the final like canon Benji Prime and his wife do live happily ever after, and there is no more time travel shenanigans. Number two loser asks, would you ever consider revisiting a series for like a second season slash revisit audio genres? I mean, I'm already doing that. I'm already doing that. What do you mean if? What? All right. Sabina asks, can you tell us anything, any small detail about any upcoming story that you're working on? No, I can't. Spoilers. Kenzie asks, what's the best part of making videos on your channel? Um, Reading your guys' comments, legitimately. That's the best part. The best part is reading your guys' comments. I know that sounds like a cop out, but it's true. Okay, next question. Black Cubes asks, would you accept art design for some of your characters for free? You mean like for like episode art and like thumbnail art? Yeah, like just DM me or email me. Like I said before, Tumblr is the best place to get in contact with me. That's where I lurk the most. But my email is on my profile, so you could just email me, and we could work something out. We could figure something out. Maeve asks, "What are the most important lessons you've learned in life?" Oh my god, I'm gonna say the most cliche thing ever: be yourself. Be yourself. Actually, no. Here's the most important lesson that I learned is treat everyone like a friend automatically, no matter what. Like don't worry. Like don't be like, oh, is this person worthy of being treated with kindness? I better make sure first. No, just fucking do it. Just be nice to people. Every like just I think like I say the thing I say is like everyone is my friend until proven otherwise, and it's like I literally do not care if I met you 5 minutes ago. Like you're my friend until proven otherwise. Like I don't like I think that's like been the best lesson that I've learned that has like improved my life the most and improved the lives of people around me the most, and that I think everybody should do. Be nice for no fucking reason. Let's see. Oh my god. Oh no, this next question. Anonymous asks, R slash were you a theater kid? Believe it or not, no. But I'm theater kid adjacent. I never took like any kind of theater education. I was never like in any high school plays, or I never majored in theater. But I have worked in haunted houses, and I have been in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I did both of those things for a very long time. Like I started working in haunted houses like when I was like a freshman in college, and I still work in haunted houses. I will be working in a haunted house in a few weeks, and I love it. I love scaring people. And I did the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Oh my god, for a long fucking time. From like uh early 2017 to like right when the COVID pandemic happened, and then I came back a little bit in 2021. But then like by then I was like, I had escaped audios like shortly thereafter, and so I kind of was like, okay, well this is scratching the itch. Like I don't really want to keep doing the same movie Shadowcast over and over. I very much like have fond memories of Rocky Horror, and I met a lot of great like long time friends through Rocky Horror, but like I don't do that anymore. But that is like I guess theater kid adjacent. So I have like the diet theater kid experience, I suppose. Let's see. Maeve asks, if you were to give your past self any advice, what would it be? Oh my God, no. What would it be? I'm not gonna cheat and be like buy Bitcoin. That's stupid. Life lesson wise, I don't know. I tell him to be nice. I tell him to be less judgmental and be more kind. Um, and that's just more important than whatever the fuck else I was worried about when I was a teenager. Let's see. Cherry asks, "Hi, congrats on the 4 years. I wanted to ask if we will ever be seeing Ivan again, and if there's another series with Crow." You will be seeing Ivan in bonus audios only. He's gonna have two bonus audios. He's gonna have one Valentine special, and he's gonna be having one spicy audio, and then maybe some like spin-off stuff. But like Ivan's main story is done, so there's never gonna be another like Ivan main story. And Crow is gonna get his own season without Raven, because he's dead, and he's gonna be living his ghost life, and his love interest is the literal Grim Reaper, and you're gonna love it. Um, let's see. We got Ray. Ray is asking, is there a specific age limit for your audios? Like, are they 13 plus, 15 plus, etc.? I would say the majority of my work is like PG-13. You know, PG-13. I think. What? I mean, it's like YouTube, so whatever's in there. Like, it's not for like kids, but I don't think a lot of my stuff like would really resonate with anybody younger than that anyway. I would put a PG-13 rating on my stuff. Let's see. Divi asks, who is your favorite character to voice, or your favorite in general? My favorite character to voice is definitely Bada Boom. Bada Boom. Cervantes is my close second favorite character to perform. Anonymous asked, do you have any pets? Yes, I do. I have kitty cats, and you can see them on my Twitter every now and then. Luciel asks, what's the new series about? Which new series? I have so many. You're just going to have to watch them. Emerson Starr asks, I had one question about some future projects that you might do. One question I had in mind is, do you think you will ever make a season 2 of the villain one? I keep forgetting the names. I think you mean Against the World, and no, Against the World is never getting a sequel. You're never going to get a sequel. You will get like little spin-offs, because like, I mean, just fucking think about it. Like, it took me almost 4 years to make one spin-off for Against the World. And it's just like, I'm so over Against the World. And I know that some people like it and really want to see a story go somewhere, but I'm just like, fuck, no, I don't want to do Against the World anymore. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I just have better ideas, and I'm a better writer, and I'm just Against the World. I'm gonna be real with you guys. Against the World started out as a straight up fucking porno, okay? Against the World was an NSFW script that I wrote for Gone Wild Audio, and it was just supposed to be a sex audio, and like with the gimmick that there was like a car chase in the middle, that was gonna like make it stand out. But then I stopped making NSFW audios, and I had that script and that car chase and everything, so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna make this into an SFW story because there's enough plot in it for that to work. So I'm gonna be for fucking real. I'm gonna be for shizzle. I'm gonna be for serious right now. Against the World was never meant to be a full like movie length story. It's a miracle that I got that to work in the first place. It was supposed to be a porno with a car chase, and I'm sorry, but that is just not as high concept as all of my other stuff. So I'm Against the World shan't be getting any more. It's over. I'm ranting right now. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Emerson Starr. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. I'm just like, so it's Against the World is so far behind me. I don't look into the past, honey. Let's see. Your next question though is you wanted to know. This isn't a question. This is a statement. But I was that one girl who was asking about Alfonso in Spanish. How is it not famous in Spain when the character is Spanish? Yeah, like what the fuck? It like literally, no Spanish speaking countries like Matador Gothic like does not perform well in any Spanish speaking countries, like including Spain. The closest thing to like a Hispanic country where Matador Gothic does well is the Philippines, where Matador Gothic is pretty popular in the Philippines, but it's really, really, really popular in Germany. Matador Gothic is so fucking popular in Germany. There's more German Matador Gothic listeners than like British or Canadian ones. Like all of the United Kingdom plus Canada combined is still a smaller percentage of the Matador Gothic like viewer base than just Germany. That's not counting like Switzerland and Austria. Germans love that shit. So like I was gonna make Wolfsjäger, and I was like, okay, well I bet you that like the trend is gonna like reverse here. Like I think Germans are just not gonna really care about Wolfsjäger. But then Wolfsjäger was like ridiculously popular in Germany. So I'm like, Okay, well, I guess my own native country will just not accept my story about them. So, like, I don't know. I don't know. Spanish speakers just don't want Matador Gothic for reasons that are just beyond my comprehension. Let's see. Teresa asks, which do you like better, cats or dogs? I think I'm naturally more of a dog person, but I don't have a dog right now. I have a cat, and my cat wasn't even like my cat. My cat was my roommate's cat, but like I love that fucking little beastie so much. I love that cat so goddamn much. And that cat really likes me and chose me as her true master. So, I don't know. I just formed such a strong bond with that specific cat that my roommate was like, "That's not my cat, is it? That's that's your cat. When you move out, you're taking her with you." Um, so, and I love my kitty cat. I love my kitty cat so much. Even though, like, I would say, like, I have all the dog person personality traits, and I had like a dog as a kid that I loved more. I had a dog and a cat growing up, and I liked my dog more. And I'm like an outdoorsy guy, so I'm just like I'm a doggy type of dude. But like I just love that stinking little cat. I love that little moggy catcher. I love her. I love that kitty. Uh, yeah, I don't know. That's such a tough thing to say. I love my cat. I love my little kitty. All right. Josie asks, what made you come up with the Neon Barbarian series? Two things. One, I was listening to Out of Touch, thinking it would be a great song for a last stand in a 1980s action movie. And two, was just me asking the what if question of like, what if Raider from the Fallout or Mad Max universe survived long enough to have to live in civilization and like pay taxes and fill out lease applications and all that other stuff that would just like is technically like not as difficult as surviving the wasteland, but it would be hard for them if they were not used to it. Um, Anonymous asks, what is the hardest thing of making an audio? I want to know because I want to start making some. The hardest part of making an audio is listening to your own voice over and over and over while you're editing. It will drive you insane. Lizzie Lassie asks, would you ever consider making cute keychains for your characters with Ken designs, or even of your online profile with commission art? Because I would love to have a little bada boom and that on my bags or keys. By the way, happy 4 years on YouTube. I keep forgetting that I can just make keychains as merch. Like keychains seems to be like a pretty like a lot of people are asking for keychains, and I keep not making them. In fact, some people have made their own keychains. Oh my god, just go ask around Tumblr because I know there's an artist on Tumblr. Actually, if you're listening right now, just like shout out in the comments that you made those keychains because there are like a Bada Bing and Bada Boom keychains, and I don't know where to get them. I don't like I gave the artist permission to just like use my characters to make those keychains for like personal purposes, but like if they sell them, I don't give a fuck. I'm not that possessive over my like IPs. I think just you can buy it from them. They can keep the profits. I don't give a shit. I just do whatever you want, do whatever you want. In fact, you can make your own. Buy them from other people who made them. I don't care. Who am I, Disney? Am I like out here like being like you made $5 off Mickey Mouse? Now you must die. No, just whatever. They are out there though. I can't link you to them because I don't know. If I did know, I would tell you though. Let's see. Julian asks, happy 4 years on YouTube. Okay, first, how many father-like characters have you played or are going to play? Because my partner and I were watching some of your videos a while ago on Twitter, and they said you did stuff a dad would kind of do. And second, will you ever go to New Jersey to see how accurate you got it in New Jersey Rats? I mean, Ivan is literally a dad. Like Ivan is a father, and he is a very fatherly father. And Jaeger is not a dad. But he has very fatherly traits and would be a good dad and really wants to be a dad. So like those guys are dad coded characters. Not coded. Ivan's not dad coded. He's literally a father. What am I saying? But those are my most fatherly characters. I would say. I think Fletcher. Fletcher also has very fatherly, very like reassure. There's a kind of like reassuring masculinity to Fletcher that is very fatherly. Even though and yeah, you like kind of when he's older, you see him talking about his kids and taking care of his grandkids. So yeah, Fletcher is a father too. And he's also a fatherly man. He has very fatherly masculinity. Broken Angel asks, would you rather publish one of your series into a book or turn it into a movie? If so, which series? I would like to turn Matador Gothic into a book, and I would like to turn the New Jersey Rats into a movie, or actually, no, I think a TV show. I think the New Jersey Rats would make a great TV show. Same with Greasefire. Rain asks, how do you see your channel in a few years? Would it still exist? Hopefully, it would still exist. In a few years, I mean, hopefully, like within 3 years, I should have over 100,000 subs. That's where I see it in 3 years. I see it still existing and being even more successful. Rain again asks, are the people around you aware of your channel? If so, what's their opinion of it? Yeah, everybody knows about my channel. I mean, my roommates hear me fucking recording. Like, they'd have to know. Of course, my girlfriend knows. My girlfriend knows more about the channel than anybody alive because I yap at her about every little idea that I have for a story before I even start writing them down as scripts. Um, my dad has known since like Against the World episode one. Like he listened to episode one right when I published it. My sister knows. My mom knows. I mean, now that I'm doing it like full time, they also are like hearing about it way more. Most of my friends know. I mean, like we talk. I mean, it's such a big part of my life. Like of course I'm gonna talk about it. And the thing is that like, dude, there's a lot of people who like get into making audio role plays and they like just won't talk about it because they're like, I guess it's kind of understandable if their like main line is like NSFW audios and they want to keep that confidential. But if you're not making NSFWs, don't fucking keep it a secret that you make audio role plays. Don't fucking do that, you little coward. I will strangle you. God, it pisses me so it pisses me off when like people get into this hobby and then they act like super ashamed of it, where they're like, oh, if people find out that I make audio role plays, they'll think I'm cringe. Why? It's probably a long shot from the dorkiest shit you've ever done. You've probably done weirder stuff. Just fucking talk about it, you fucking coward. Yeah, a lot of people get into this and it's like they treat it like a deep, dark secret. And I'm like, fucking why? Oh my God, creative writing of voice acting? Oh my God. We gotta keep that under wraps. Shut the fuck up. Don't make audios if you have to keep it a secret is what I'm gonna say. So yeah, they all know about it. They find it very some of them find it interesting and entertaining. Others don't really care. Certain audios of course hit more. Like my friends really like Greasefire and Not in Front of Dinner Darling, and they probably like don't care as much for like more romance based stories, which like makes sense because it's like that's your bro. Like how are you gonna listen to your bro smooching and stuff? But let's see. And your last question was to help you, was it better to listen to you on YouTube or Spotify? I cannot afford Patreon. Sorry. Yeah, I think I don't know. I just barely got monetized on Spotify, so I don't really know what the like ad revenue looks like on there. But I think like as of now, like YouTube is better, and also like it just helps me build up my overall algorithmic presence more to like listen on YouTube. So yeah, I'm gonna say YouTube helps me more. And also, I'm a YouTuber. Like the Spotify thing is like I do that on the side. You know, I'm a YouTuber. I'm a YouTube boy. Aubrey wants to know what my order is from Taco Bell. I am a Crunchwrap boy. I am a Crunchwrap boy. Mackenzie asks, what was the most frustrating German word to learn? Verschwinden, probably. That one drove me crazy. Um, let's see. I probably pronounced that wrong still. Mackenzie asks, what is your favorite sweet treat? Pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie for sure. That's the big winner. Boyd wants to know, if you could have any animal in the world, what would it be? Any animal? Any animal. Oh my God. Oh, there's so many options. Oof. A leopard seal. That sounds dope. I assume the animal comes with like an enclosure that I can like care for it in. Like I just don't get this like massive like aquatic mammal and like nowhere to put it because like otherwise that would just be like, it would just die if you just put it in my house, you know, like. But I would take a leopard seal. Um, and if you could visit anywhere in the world, where would you go? I would go to Australia. I've always wanted to go to Australia. I feel like I'm spiritually Australian, if that makes any sense. Like I was born to be Australian. I should have lived there. Let's see. Boyd again asks, can you draw for us again? Maybe. I'm not that good of an artist. I haven't been practicing my art as much as I hoped to. If I'm ever feeling proud about something I drew, maybe I'll post something. Probably not on my YouTube tab, but like on Tumblr most likely, or Twitter. Let's see. Masu asks, hello. First of all, a happy 4-year anniversary. My questions for you are: do you have any ideas for future series that you can share, and what kind of genre do you plan on pursuing when it comes to your content? Oh, I think I've talked enough about my future series, so I'm sorry. I'm gonna skip that one. I'm so sorry. I have so many questions to go through. Um, let's see. Anonymous asks, what's been your favorite series to make? Not in front of dinner, darling. I had a blast. Cleo asks, I just want to have an update about the music playlist that was discussed by you last AMA. LOL JK. I know that you're very busy with recording and your personal life, but I was just curious about the thing and all. Thank you for 4 years of providing us these amazing audios. Cheers to more years with you and the channel. I did. I made the playlist. I made the playlist and I posted it. But the thing is, like, the playlist is private, or not private. It's unlisted. Just because I didn't want it to like clog up my actual audios. So you can find it if you dig far enough back on my community posts, and you can also find it on my socials. But it's like it's an unlisted link. I can post it again. I think I'll just post it again in the comments of this video. Cleo, you can have my playlist. Yes, Cleo. I will give that to you. I will provide it graciously. In fact, I might even add a few songs to it. Aylin asks, 4 years. I'm so thankful for you and your audios so much. It feels great to be part of your milestone. Escaped. You should be proud of it, for real. My questions are: 1, out of all the VAs you collaborated with, which one of them have you had the most fun with? And 2, what's the most memorable reaction you've gotten to one of your audios? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. I've had so much fun with so many of the VAs that I worked with, to the point that it's like so hard to like pick a favorite, because like I mean there's like VAs that I work with a lot that are like my best, like my internet buddies, like Good Boy Audios, Ala Cursor, Scythe Audio, Rina Zaki, like people that I've been working with for a long time that I'm like really close with now on a personal level after having been like working with them for so long. But I think the most fun that I've had like with a VA collaborator was probably season 1 of the New Jersey Rats. All the scenes between Bada Bing and Bada Boom were recorded live with atonal audios over Discord. And that's because, one, I wanted to like live direct, because I do like live directing whenever I can. But 2 is that a lot of their arguments were like improvised. Like the first couple lines of their arguments would be scripted, and then after that it would just say like improvise an argument. So we would just like yell at each other in character over Discord, and it was so funny. Like every single day we were just busting our guts laughing. So yeah, me and Atonal had such a wonderful fun time doing the New Jersey Rats. Like I think that was a great experience, and you know, some of the best fun I've ever had with like a YouTube VA collaborating. And I guess the most let's see, how did you word it? You said like, what's the most memorable reaction you've gotten to one of your audios? I think it's like somebody told me that like Neon Wings like literally saved their life when they were like in a really bad state of depression that they like just did not believe that they could ever overcome. And listening to Neon Wings and re-listening to it over and over really like gave her hope that you can overcome when things are not great. So I don't remember that person's name, but if you're out there listening, until the next sunrise, my friend, I'm so glad that my audios reached you. So I think that was the most memorable reaction that I've ever gotten to one of my audios. Let's see. The Real Batman asks, would you ever consider turning one of your series into movies or shows? If I had the budget, or if a studio reached out to me, I would say yes, but only if I had like a lot of control over the screenplay. Um, let's see. Anonymous asks, Denny's from My Grease Fire Life is such a ride or die character. Was she inspired by anyone in your life? And no, dude, pretty much every character in My Grease Fire Life, like every single one, is based off of me. Like the whole Grease Fire crew, Duke, Dandy, Thad, Ash, Denny's, and I know they're all very different people, but they're just me at different points in my life. Um, and they're all me. They're all me. And Lena is me as a woman. Um, except for Lexi. Lexi is based on. She's supposed to be like an evil version of my actual girlfriend, which I think is very funny. I love my girlfriend. She's perfect. Lexi is supposed to be like her if she was malicious and evil. Um, I think that's why I love Lexi so much. Like people will talk about Lexi and be like, "I fucking hate that bitch so much," and I'm like, "No, you can't say bad things about Lexi. She's a queen. She's a queen." I think it's because I base so much of her off of my girlfriend. It's my girlfriend. My girlfriend isn't like mean or manipulative or whatever, but she's just like a little glam girl like Lexi is. Lexi's the evil version of her. Actually, no. Lexi is every woman I've ever dated, but evil combined, including the actually evil ones. I've only had like one or two like bad exes, like really bad exes, and like there's a little bit of Lexi in them, or a little bit of them in Lexi. Lexi is every woman I've ever dated, or like the worst parts of them combined. Like that's Lexi, and then everybody else is me, but divided into pieces, including Denny's, including Denny's. Let's see. Miel asks, if you weren't doing content creation, what would you be doing? I would be looking for another job because I got fired from my normal job. um, let's see. I mean, I have a life out of content creation. Like I had like a normal full time job up until like a month ago. So like I'd just be doing that. Let's see. And Miel also asks, what is your favorite series that you have done? I don't know. I don't know. Like the most fun that I've had making one, that's got to be Not in Front of Dinner, Darling. But overall, no. My favorite one to create is Not in Front of Dinner, Darling. My favorite, like artistically, Blue Infinity. Nix asks, how long have you been into ASMR slash audios? I really got into like audios. I think the first audios that I listened to were like fucking porn, on Gone Wild Audio on Reddit, like back in 2016. It was just audio porn. I dug it. I was like, this is sick. This is sick. Porn where I can like it's just like the right ratio of stimulus to like use of my imagination. This rules. This rules. And whenever somebody like went all out on the soundscape, I'd be like, hell yeah. Wouldn't it be cool if somebody made a real story out of this? And then I started listening to like audio role play type stuff. I think like it was during like the I was having like super bad insomnia issues for a while around like late 2020 I think, and I was like listening to sleep aid audios, like I was listening to like a lot of Skitty Cat and stuff, and then that like got me further down the rabbit hole that took me to like I think like Stephanie Swan Quills was the first like audio roleplay voice actress that I like ever listened to that had like full on like cinematic stories, and that took me to like a whole bunch of other people. So like I found like Ales with audio and What Giraffe, and I found Good Boy Audios, and I found Scythe Audio, and I found Siren Sun, and blah blah blah. Like I found all those people, and I was like, okay, I like these people, I like these audios, I like this business. So I mean, 2016 is when it started, but I was just like, that was just me being a fucking gooner. But like in terms of like our artistic appreciation for narrative, I think that would have been like late 2020, and I feel like that's when a lot of people got into it. So, uh, I wish I got into it sooner. Um, let's see. Next question. Nick's also. So, how did I find out about ASMR? I have nothing to do with ASMR. There's no ASMR here. There's no ASMR here. Anonymous asks, "Hi, I really enjoyed your Neon Barbarian and Neon Wings series. The cyberpunk vibe is incredible. Do you plan to make more roleplays in this style?" There's gonna be another Neon Barbarian story, but it's gonna take place like it's from the perspective of a ghost. So like the cyberpunkiness isn't really gonna matter because they're not really affected by the society that exists in the mortal world. Um oh my god. And then there's gonna be like a lot of flashback stuff, but that flashback stuff takes place in the apocalypse, so that's gonna have more like Mad Max vibes than cyberpunk vibes. Like that's gonna be like the transition between the Mad Max world to the cyberpunk world, and yeah. So like with all that, like I just don't like more cyber. I don't know. I don't have any like cyberpunk stuff in mind. Not that I'm like averse to like using that kind of like you know setting theme ever again. I just don't have anything in mind right now, and I'm not gonna force it just for the sake of doing more Neonverse stuff because like I think I'm about ready to just close the book on the Neonverse. Like there's gonna be no more Neonverse, no more San Sequestro, no more Against the World, no more Neon Barbarian, no more Romeo, blah blah blah. Maybe like spin-offs and stuff every now and then, but like as far as mainline series goes, I just don't really want to do anything else in the Neonverse in the foreseeable future or like possibly ever. And like do not mourn, because if I stop doing something it means that I'm starting something else. Okay, so like whenever I say I'm done with something, people are like, "Oh no, he's done with this." I'm like, "No, well, the only reason that I close the book on stuff is so that I can open the book on new stuff, and the new stuff is always better because I'm more skilled than when I do. Remember, you have to remember, the Neonverse came from a porno. You have to remember. Like you have to remember, it did not come from like a place of great artistic vision. Let's see. Derpy asks, would it be possible for someone to connect all of your audios, like to make a timeline of events? No. No. All of them. No. They don't even exist in the same timeline. And I mean, you should be able to figure out pretty easily that some audios just cannot exist in the same universe as the others. Like Blue Infinity, there's Blue Infinity simply could not have anything to do with any of the other audios because people would have mentioned the drift, and people wouldn't just be like, "Oh yeah, like I'm in Spain, which is like one complete country connected to Europe." Like no, of course, like it's gonna be like no, yeah, like nothing could exist in the Blue Infinity universe without being like completely like fucking different, you know? Like there'd be like African animals living in North America, and like extinct species and like polar bears in Brazil. Like I just like you would notice really quickly if something was in the Blue Infinity world, like in the future, like hundreds of years out. Same with the Neon Barbarian. Like the nuclear war there is like a big deal. So like obviously like Wolfsjäger doesn't take place in the same universe as Neon because that's in 1963, and the fact that a nuclear war hasn't happened yet is a big plot point. And in the Neon universe, like it is very important that a nuclear war did happen in 1959. So like you can figure out what isn't connected and then sort of figure out what is. So like Wolfsjäger and Matador Gothic are connected. Not in Front of Dinner, Darling is also connected to Matador Gothic. Neon and Against the World, and Sneaky Goblin is also part of the Neon verse. So is Romeo. Like you'd have to figure it out, but there's like how many timelines? Let's see. I think there's like 5 or 6 different timelines. So no, you could not connect all of the audios, but you could connect a lot of them, and you could kind of like file them out into what's connected to what. But like there is not one overarching like connected universe, and I'm really against that. Like I'm really against putting every single motherfucking story into the same universe, because I'm like, no, my audio series, my slice of life slow burn romance about a guy who works in a burger shop does not have to take place in the same universe as my nautical fantasy story where Poseidon quits his job and the continent split into 1,000 pieces. Like, there's no reason for them to take place in the same universe. And like some creatives have this obsession with having everything connect, and I'm like, I want to kill you, Stephen King. I want to beat your ass, Stephen King. No, no, like you did not have to put. I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. I'm just really against that. Like, I think it's so overrated to like put every motherfucking thing in the same universe. No, my burger boy in my does not have to live in the same universe as my like werewolf hunter. That's fucking stupid. Um, that's stupid. My accountant doesn't have to live in the same universe as my gay vampires. They it just doesn't make sense. Um, okay. Let's see. Star asks, I had already submitted once, but more questions just popped into my head. Sobbing emoji. What's one roleplay slash story idea that you'd love to try but haven't yet? God, there's one crazy, insane idea I had for a plot about. It's like a fantasy universe that takes place at a technology level that is roughly the level of technology that we had like during the Napoleonic Wars, like the late 1700s, like 1790s, 1810s. And it's going to be a fantasy story, so there's going to be like magic and fantasy, and the main character is inspired by a janissary, because I find janissaries extremely fascinating. I find the idea that they were foreign and slaves, but also like exalted and admired and like had a high social standing despite being slaves is really interesting and weird and such a bizarre part of history, and I think that's very rich for character exploration, but it has never been done. Well, I'm not going to say never. It's very underexplored. Like janissaries or like janissary inspired fantasy characters are I think there's a lot that could be done with them. So my janissary story. I'm not going to talk about the plot of the janissary story. I would get super sidetracked. Um, let's see. Oh my god, I lost my place. Where was I? Where was I? How do you keep roleplay slash stories fresh and different without repeating the same ideas? Stay the fuck away from trends. Like, don't look at what's trending. Don't be like, oh my god, the Yandera tag gets so many views. Like, no, fuck that. That's how you make garbage. That's how you make trash. And I know somebody's gonna be like, but I know this one voice actor and he makes Yandera. He's trash. Your boy's trash. Your fave is trash. Anybody? I'm sorry. Like anyone who like follows trends, they're gonna get stagnant. Also, letting go of characters and settings also keeps things fresh. Like some VAs will be like, well, this character is really popular, so I have to keep making audios for him forever. And it's like, it's also gonna get stale, my boy. It's gonna get stale. People are gonna get tired. You're gonna get tired. You're gonna get tired of your own character. You're gonna start fucking hating him. You know, like you have to let go. And it's hard to let go, but like letting go makes room for you to come up with new things that are probably better because your creative skills have probably improved since you came up with the fucking alpha werewolf boyfriend that you thought of in 2019. Like it's you know, it's just, you just have to let go. It's time to let go at some point, and it keeps things fresh. And I know like a lot of audio, I'm ranting again, I'm sorry. A lot of audio role plays get repetitive as fuck, dude. Like it is insane. Like every now and then like some tag or like title or theme will like pop up and become like the thing. Like remember like a couple years ago when like every boyfriend audio was just like your boyfriend snaps at you, and like everybody was fucking doing that, and that like that gets repetitive, and it makes the whole community look bad when we're all making the same goddamn shit, you know, when we're all like bringing back the same character and the same tropes and the same fucking title. Like come on, dude. So like yeah, so if you want to like keep things fresh, stay the fuck away from trends. Like do not even pay attention to trends. Just come up with insane ideas while you're daydreaming. It's like there's nothing but the pure essence of daydreaming will give you like proper substrate by which to be creative with audios. Like only the daydream can accomplish that. So yeah, let things go. Let stories go. Let settings go. Let characters go. Stay the fuck away from trends. Get creative. Yap, yap, yap to your friends. Yap to your friends. Yap to your boyfriends. Yap to your girlfriends. Yap to your mama. Yap to your papa. Just yap a lot. That's how you keep it fresh. Let's see. And do you ever act out multiple takes to get the tone right? Yes, all actors do. And do you ever break character mid role play because of something funny? Whenever Edmund's voice actor hit me with a surprise improv line, I did break and laugh several times, but I can usually keep it together. Um, let's see. And have you ever recorded a story that turned out completely differently from how you planned? It's happening right now with Wolfsjäger. I didn't know how that story would end until like a month ago. And I know I've been working on that since 2023. So I really should have figured out the ending earlier, but that's the way the strudel crumbles. All right. Mackenzie asks, Mackenzie, you were getting greedy with the questions, Mackenzie. Mackenzie. What was your favorite line to record? Mackenzie asks. Mackenzie, you're in so much fucking trouble. What was my favorite line to record? Definitely like one of Cervantes' like misogynistic rants for sure. For sure. I think the line like I don't hate women because I'm gay. I hate them because I'm a misogynist. Like that was just so fucking funny to record. I had a blast with that. This is so funny. Next line. What was your least favorite line to record? Mackenzie, are you also Boyd? I think I've seen a Mackenzie Boyd around. I think this was you asking another question. You asked a lot of questions, Mackenzie Boyd. You're in so much trouble. I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you. You're not in trouble. I'm happy to answer these questions. I only do this once a year. Might as well fucking ask me whatever you want. Um, Let's see. What was your least favorite line to record? Jaeger's farewell in the German version of the proof of concept video. That made me want to shoot myself. Let's see. And what scene was the hardest to edit? Oh my god, the hardest scene to edit. Probably the naval fight scene in the second to last episode of Blue Infinity. That was really hard, really satisfying when it finally came out. But that was a shit ton of editing. That was like 1 hour of editing per like 2 minutes of audio. What small thing pisses you off? Wouldn't you like to know? Wouldn't you like to know? I've said enough mean things today. I've got to keep this positive. I'm a positive guy. I'm a positive guy, but you heard my mean opinions at least 3 times in this AMA. Favorite drink. Favorite drink. Alcoholic, a Bouvardier. It's like a Negroni, but with bourbon instead of gin, because bourbon is delicious and gin is disgusting. Um, Let's see. Oh my God, these are there's okay. I'm not answering any more of your questions, Mackenzie Boyd. I'm going through this. These are all yours. Let's see. Buddy asks, who is your biggest supporter in real life? My beautiful girlfriend Chloe, of course. She is my number one fan, and I love her, and she's done more for me than anyone else. Boyd asks, what's the next story with the drift? It's that untitled M for M story. Damn it! I said I wasn't going to answer any more of your questions. And Gremlin asks, can you describe each of your voices with a song? Like Fletcher would be a song and Crow would be another. I mean, I think I said they all have theme songs. They all have theme songs, and some of their theme songs are more obvious than others. Some of them are a little more subtle, and you kind of have to figure it out. And most of the listener characters also have their own theme songs. Like Ash's theme song is Risk. Um, and like Crow, obviously that's Out of Touch. Who else has theme songs? Alfonso's theme song is Flamenco by Timmy Trumpet. That's only in the spin-offs, but that's his theme song, baby. Let me think. This is the last question on the like main one, so I might as well answer all of them. Off the top of my head, Fletcher's theme song is not "Leave Her, Johnny." Fletcher's theme song is, instead of "Leave Her Johnny," originally that the song they were gonna sing was "Wild Mountain Time," and I feel like that would have been a better theme song for Fletcher. But that was never featured in the audio, so like I can't really say. I guess that fits your question that I'm like answering like what would their song be? Not necessarily the theme song. He'd be Wild Mountain Time. Let me think. Sneaky Goblin. His theme song is In the Hall of the Mountain King. Let's see. Walter's theme song is Thunder Love by Sung. Yes, that's his Thunder Love by Song. Let's see. I'm like struggling to remember my own characters. Basher's theme song is Thrones of Blood by Sullivan King. Oh my god. Let me think. Oh, I'm having such a hard time thinking. My characters. My characters. Like, how did I? Dude, I'm just like, who did I make? Who are my own characters? Who are my characters? Jaeger's theme song is Wir rufen deine Wölfe. We call upon your wolves. That's his theme song. My God. How have I forgotten my own damn characters? It is so late. I've been yapping for 2 hours. I think the rest, I'm going to make you figure them out by yourself because my brain is a little soup right now. My brain, a little soup. Good heavens. What time is it? Oh my God. It's midnight already. Holy shit. Okay. I'm like a little tired. I think that's a wrap on this year's AMA. Thank you everyone who submitted questions. I love you guys so much. Sorry for all the times that I got mean and snarky because I did do that a few times this year. I don't regret it though. I would do it again. I could choose to delete those. I could edit those out, but I won't because I want you to see the real me. I'm getting delirious. I'm like... Oh my God. This is going to be the most clumsy outro to any of these fucking audios that I've ever made. But, that's a wrap. See you next week for My True Love is Dead, episode 3? 4? 3? Episode 3. All right, see you there. Bye.